Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel of Bethel Evangelical Free Church Hanley. I'm Pastor Gervais Charnley. This is another church in our tour of Herefordshire churches. This is the Church of St Andrew, Pixley. Now, there are many kinds of country church. This is the sort of country church you find tucked away in a farmyard. There's a number of them in rural England. And in Herefordshire, Gloucestershire, Worcestershire, you find quite a number. This is one of the best. I say one of the best, there are many, but I think this is one of the best. It's a medieval building of somewhat indeterminate date. It certainly was here in the 14th century, probably older, but it's such a simple structure that it's hard to tell when it was built. Nevertheless, we can see it's an impressive little building. So have a look around and see something of this kind of small country church. It must be because enormous. Well, it does seem to be used these days for weddings and such like more than anything else, because Pixley village is very small and it's one of a number of little churches around here. But it is a very good location for a little wedding or something. So we'll have a look and let's see what we can see, shall we? And so we start at the west end, and here we have the font. It doesn't look to be terribly old, but it might be older than it looks. It's a very simple octagonal font, nothing more to say about it. The big thing here is the rood screen, which is 14th century, and is structural, like the rood beam above, and that's why it hasn't been removed, because people are afraid if we take this screen out, the church might fall down, and indeed it might. So it's still there. War memorial, 7 names, 5 privates, Lance Corporal and Bombardier, Royal Garrison Artillery, so he's private soldier. Memorial here to Arthur Henry Knapp, M.A. Oxon, that's Oxford, who ministered in this church for more than half a century, first Curate of Pixley from 1890 to 94, then rector 1894 to 1943, being also rector of Aylton. It's another nice little church. 1890 to 43, departed this life January the 17th, 1943, his 91st year. So 94, 91, and he's still the rector. These are very small parishes, these are very small churches. The stall here, there is no pulpit. There may have been one, but there isn't anymore. Just a lectern. There you go, through here into the chancel, and we've got these 2 windows, so this is probably in fact 13th century. We have here, this is the, well, it's now an aumbrey. It's designed, if it is older, it may just be Victorian, but it's certainly trying to be a bit of a sepulchre. Window there, there isn't, there is a piscina, rather, it's a sill piscina. You can see here that there we have this depression in the sill with a plug in the middle, that's the piscina. And looking west through the screen, so it's tiny building, and very rustic, deserving its location. It's got some nice Victorian tiles on the floor though. The pews, you can see, are not fixed, they've been moved so that they're facing the centre, rather so choir-wise, rather than as they would have been normally in the past. But again, it's a very small congregation, very small church. So back through the screen, you can see at the back we've got the structure for the bellcot. Also at the back is an American organ, otherwise known as a harmonium. But this type, it's got these fake organ pipes and things. This type is particularly known as an American organ, and it's a reed organ. So it's blown by the foot pedals down there, and of course the keyboard is in there. So that is very much that. It is so tiny. One of the smallest churches in Herefordshire. That's actually saying something, because Herefordshire's got some teeny tiny buildings. But again, there's a lovely roof up there. I mean, look at that. These timbers, most of them medieval anyway, and that timber screen. So let's go outside. So this is outside of Pixley. This is what is known colloquially as a farmyard church, because it's located in a farmyard behind the big house. Now, what constitutes the big house in any village differs. Some of them are, as at Canfroom, this enormous mansion. Most of them actually are more glorified farmhouses, and some more glorified than others. And that's the case here. The big house is a glorified farmhouse, and the church is in the farmyard. You are, of course, you can come back here and park. It's off a fairly busy road. The farms here, primarily, certainly back in the day, primarily cider. There's an old cider mill, cider press that can be seen. We'll have a look around the outside and make sure that we stay within the boundaries of the churchyard, of course, as much as possible. When I say as much as possible, the alternative is where the parking is. And so here we are. You can see this lovely wooden porch. Some of the wood's going to be medieval. Nice little bell turret with a bit of stone on it, but the shingles on the roof. And it's a single space. There's no separate chancel, just not at least as far as the roof is concerned. And the priest's door and the main door. And there is Pixley Court, which is the big farmhouse. And just in front of Pixley Court, that is an old cider mill. You can see the great stone there. It's now, that's what they would use to press the apples for cider. For any American listeners, in England, in Britain, cider is always alcoholic. So if you go to Britain and you don't want to drink alcohol, do not ask for cider. I know of cases of Americans who have accidentally broken vows or pledges of abstinence because they were unaware that in England cider is always alcoholic. Nice big buttress there, that tells us that a bit of weakness there in the corner. And around here on the north side, you can see there the windows. The 19th century, there's another big buttress telling us that they've had issues with keeping the building up. It's a very simple structure. You can see it's all just plain rubble. There's very little in terms of anything indicative of date of the structure beyond that internal screen and those windows. And you can see there's the farmyard. So this is a church in a farmyard, and we fairly common in this part of England, as I say. And here is the little turret with its little turret window. So big threatening sky over there, and back round to the door, and this is pointed, so that says to me 13th, 14th century date. There's quite a lot of 14th century churches in Herefordshire, in fact, but there's some things in this building indicative of the 13th century, but most of the windows have been replaced. The ones on the other side are Victorian. These ones appear to be mostly 17th century. So that is Pixley, teeny tiny. And so there you have it. Pixley Church, tiny little building, in a farmyard, near a main road in rural Herefordshire. Lovely place. Quickly, only a short video here because it's just a tiny church and so simple, and it's just a place where you can enjoy the atmosphere of rural Herefordshire. Well, thank you for watching, and may God bless you and keep you until next time.